transportation in animals and plants. We know that food, water, and oxygen are vital for the survival of all living organisms on the earth. Developed organisms like humans and flowering plants have a well organized transport system within themselves. This system is used to move important substances from one part of the body to another. This system is called the vascular system. The vascular system consists of different kinds of tubes which carry different fluids with its contents of important substances. The vascular system is driven by a force that keeps the fluids in motion. In higher plants, xylem and phloem form the vascular system. In higher animals, the circulatory system is the principal component of vascular system. Transport of substances in plants. Different flowering plants such as herbs, shrubs and trees take water from soil through their roots. Many of the outer cells at the root extend to form root hairs. The root hairs absorb water along with dissolved minerals and transport it to the leaves through xylem, a part of vascular system. Leaves are also known as the food factories of plant. Food is prepared here by the process of photosynthesis. The raw materials required are water from soil, carbon dioxide from atmosphere, chlorophyll present in leaves, and sunlight from the sun. Food prepared in leaves is in the form of glucose. It is transported through phloem to storage organs like seeds, fruits, stem, flowers, and root. Thus, xylem and phloem are present as vascular system in plants throughout their body. That is, from roots to leaves covering the stem and the branches. Conduction of water and minerals through xylem. The process by which water and mineral salts are transported by xylem from root and carried upward to the stem, branches and leaves is called ascent of sap. There are two important forces responsible for the uptake of water and minerals in plants, one arising from the roots and the other by the leaves from the top. The mode of transport in different kinds of plants like herbs, shrubs and trees is almost the same. Let us find out how the two kinds of forces operate. Number 1, root pressure. The roots of a plant are in direct contact with water in the soil. The branching nature of root hairs provide a large surface area for absorption of water and mineral salts. Root cells contain large vacuoles filled with a fluid, the cell sap. The cell sap has a higher concentration of salt than the soil water. Such a feature enables the root hair cells to draw water from soil through a process known as osmosis. The continuous absorption of water by root hairs pushes the water upwards through the xylem vessels. Number 2, transpiration pull. The loss of water from the aerial parts of plants in the form of water vapor is known as transpiration. Water evaporates through stomata, the tiny pores present on the surface of leaf. When water is lost from the leaves, either due to transpiration or consumed in the process of photosynthesis, the water column becomes greatly stretched and creates a pull. The continuity of water column does not break due to the forces operating between the water molecules and walls of the xylem vessels. The transpiration pull is sufficient to raise water in leaves of the tall trees. Thus, due to combined effect of push force due to root pressure and pull force due to transpiration by leaf cells, water moves upward along the xylem vessel. Conduction of prepared food through phloem. Food prepared by the green leaves by the process of photosynthesis needs to be sent to storage organs and other parts of the plant body. The process of transport of soluble products of photosynthesis is known as translocation of prepared food. Special type of vascular tissues, the phloem is responsible for transporting the prepared food to all parts of the plant. Transport of substances in animals. In the lower animals like amoeba and paramecium, where the single cell does the function of the entire organism, food and oxygen are transported throughout the body by the simple process of diffusion. Simplest multicellular forms like hydra and sponges have openings on their body surface through which water enters in, carrying food and oxygen. The waste products like carbon dioxide and undigested food particles are also excreted out of the body from these openings along with water. Such animals neither require any circulatory fluid to transport materials nor do they have a proper vascular system. In complex multicellular organisms like humans, diffusion becomes inadequate as a means for distribution of materials like CO2, nutrients, and oxygen in the body. These materials have to travel a long distance within the body, so there is a special transport system called the circulatory system to carry the materials from one part of the body to other. Circulatory system in humans. There are three components of this transport system. They are blood, blood vessels, and heart. Blood. When you are wounded or get a cut on the surface of your skin, you see blood oozing out. Blood is a fluid tissue. It flows through tubes called blood vessels. Blood is made up of billions of tiny cells floating in a watery liquid called plasma. Blood transports many substances which are required for different functions in the body. These are: number 1, nutrients to be carried to all the body cells. Number 2, oxygen to be transported to all cells for respiration. Number 3, blood clotting chemicals to repair the injured parts of body. Number 4, antibodies to kill germs. Number 5, chemical messengers called hormones to control and regulate the activities in our body. Number 6, transport waste products from different parts of the body for removal. There are two types of blood cells in human blood: the red blood cells, RBCs, and white blood cells, WBCs. Human blood also contains platelets, which are actually cell fragments. Red blood cells are very small and shaped like biconcave disc. Each of these cells contains a red colored iron rich protein, the hemoglobin. It holds onto oxygen molecules after they are taken from the lungs and transports it to all the body cells. It is because of hemoglobin that blood appears red in color. White blood cells are about double the size of red blood cells and are irregular in shape. They are fewer in number and are able to move on their own like amoeba. They have a specific role in the body's defense. They protect the body against diseases caused by microorganisms that enter our body. Hence, they are an important part of our immune system. The white blood cells can pass easily through the walls of blood vessels and reach the infected parts of the body. They either ingest the foreign materials like bacteria and viruses or produce special protein substances, the antibodies that protect us from infection. Platelets are cellular fragments that help in clotting of blood. You might have got cuts or wounds on your body while playing or while handling sharp objects. Blood oozes out from the cut but stops after some time. This is because the leaking wound is sealed by formation of thick, dark red lumps or blood clot. Clotting involves complex series of chemical reactions. Blood vessels. These are a network of tubes which transport blood away from the heart and towards the heart. These blood vessels are of three types: blood vessels, arteries, veins, capillaries. Arteries carry oxygenated blood from the heart to different parts of our body. Veins carry deoxygenated blood back to our heart, which is pumped to the lungs for oxygenation. Capillaries connect arteries and veins. Differences between arteries and veins. Arteries, veins. Arteries have thick elastic walls. Veins have thin non-elastic walls. They carry blood away from the heart to different body parts. They carry blood from the body parts to the heart. They are deeply placed under the skin. They are placed close to the skin. Blood moves under high pressure. Blood does not move under high pressure. They carry oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery. They carry deoxygenated blood except the pulmonary vein. There are no valves inside the artery. Veins have valves in their inner linings to prevent back flow of blood. The space inside a blood vessel gets smaller as the blood vessels divide into finer branches. In capillaries, the space is so small that only one blood cell can pass through it. Capillaries are thin-walled, about as thin as a cell. Diffusion of gases and chemical substances take place very easily. Capillaries supply nutrients and oxygen to every cell of the body. Blood in the capillary also collects carbon dioxide and other waste from the cells. Capillaries join together at the opposite end to form veins. Veins carry blood that carries carbon dioxide and other waste for disposal. Heart. The human heart works tirelessly from the moment it begins to beat in the mother's womb until it stops at death. In an average human lifetime, the heart beats 250 crores times, 2.5 billions. The human heart is a hollow, highly muscular structure. It is about the size of our fist. It is located in the center of the chest cavity in between two lungs, with its lower conical end slightly tilted towards the left. The heart is made of cardiac muscles and has two sets of pumping chambers lying side by side. Each set is made of smaller upper chamber, the atrium, and longer and more muscular lower chamber, the ventricle. In total, the human heart has four separate chambers: the left atrium and right atrium, and the left ventricle and right ventricle. The atria are thin walled and receive blood from the body parts. The ventricles are thick walled and pump blood out of the heart. The right side of the heart is completely separated from the left by a partition called septum. This helps to prevent mixing up of oxygenated blood in the left side of the heart from the deoxygenated blood in the right side. Moreover, there are valves between the atria and ventricles. These valves open to let blood flow into the ventricles but shut as soon as the ventricles are filled with blood. This prevents a backward flow of blood from ventricles to atria. Working of the heart. The heart works in a rhythmic manner. A. Blood is received in the upper chambers. Number 1. Deoxygenated blood in right atrium from different parts of body through two large veins called vena cava. Number 2. Oxygenated blood in left atrium after purification from lungs through the pulmonary vein. B. When a wave of contraction starts, the blood is pushed into ventricles of respective side. Then the ventricles contract simultaneously. Number 1. Blood from right ventricle is sent to lungs for oxygenation through the pulmonary artery. Number 2. Oxygenated blood from left ventricle is sent to different parts of the body through the aorta. The aorta is the largest artery in the human body. It is responsible for carrying oxygen-rich blood pumped from the heart to the rest of the body. Vena cava. The vena cava is a major vein in the human body that carries deoxygenated blood back to the heart. You must remember that at no time any chamber is empty. By the time ventricles pump out blood, the atria are filled, and by the time atria are filled, ventricles are empty only to be filled again. Heartbeat. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation of heart is called heartbeat. The contraction phase is systole and the relaxation phase is known as diastole. Heartbeat is a continuous process occurring throughout our life. This ensures that blood is always flowing around our body. The normal human heartbeat is about 70 to 72 per minute. However, our level of activity can change the frequency of heartbeat. When you are asleep, your heart beats about 50 to 70 times. If you are doing exercise, it can increase to nearly 200 beats per minute. If you place your ear on your friend's chest, to the left side, you can hear a thumping sound. These sounds are heartbeats. You must have seen doctors using an instrument, the stethoscope, to listen to the heartbeat. It consists of a chest piece connected to a tube. The tube bifurcates at the other end and is joined to two earpieces. The first heartbeat sound is low pitch lub, followed by second sound of heartbeat with high pitch dub. Pulse and pulse rate. Every time the left ventricles pump blood into the arteries with force, a wave of expansion passes away from the heart along the arteries. This wave can be felt as pulses where blood vessels run over a bone or other firm tissues. The rhythmic throbbing movement due to blood flowing in the arteries is called pulse. Pulse rate is the number of pulse beats per minute. The pulse rate is the same as the rate of heartbeat, that is 70 to 72 per minute. The most convenient place to feel pulse is the wrist. It can also be felt in the neck, the ankle, and the top of the foot. A rhythmic strong pulse tells the doctor that your heart is working well. Lymphatic system. You know that the walls of the capillaries are very thin. While this is necessary for exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, it also makes them porous and some of liquid oozes through the walls. These leaked fluids return to the circulatory system through the lymphatic system. Lymph is a colorless liquid like the blood plasma. It is collected in lymph capillaries, which are the small vessels that absorb the oozed fluid between the cells. As the lymph capillaries are loosely joined, various pathogens and tissue debris also enter the system. However, before they empty into veins, the fluid passes through lymph nodes that contain a huge army of WBC. Here, the bacterial cells and other debris are destroyed. Organs closely associated with lymphatic system are tonsils, thymus, spleen, and liver. Compared to the flow of the blood, the lymphatic flow is very slow. This is so because the lymphatic system does not have a pump like the heart. The lymphatic system normally returns less than 30 ml of liquid per minute to the veins, in contrast to the 5 or 6 liters pumped through the circulatory system in the same time. Excretion in animals. As a result of everyday metabolic activities in animal body, many waste products are produced. These products, if allowed to accumulate within the body, would have toxic effects and eventually result in the death of the organism. The wastes thus need to be removed from the body time to time. Some of the wastes are carbon dioxide, water, urea, salts, and uric acid. The process of removal of metabolic wastes from the body is known as excretion. Animals have specialized excretion mechanism which largely depends on their habitat. The simple aquatic unicellular animals like amoeba do their waste disposal by the process of diffusion. The excretory organs of fish are gills and kidneys. The highly permeable gills have large surface area for efficient exchange of oxygen and CO2 from water. The gills are also organs of excretion of nitrogenous substance in the form of ammonia. Freshwater fish also produce large volume of diluted urine. This is important because a lot of water keeps entering the body of freshwater fish by osmosis. Birds, reptiles, and terrestrial insects excrete nitrogenous waste in the form of uric acid. Uric acid is non-toxic. It is excreted as thick white pellets. This enables the animals to conserve water. Human beings and other land-living mammals excrete urea as the nitrogenous waste product. It is done by excretory system of which kidney is an important organ. Excretion in humans. The main organs of excretion in humans are the kidneys. Apart from kidneys, the other organs like skin, liver, and lungs also help in excretion. You have learnt how carbon dioxide from blood is collected by alveoli in lungs and given out during exhalation, and also how the undigested food, fecal matter, is removed during egestion. Urinary system in humans. The kidneys are the main organs of excretion through which nitrogenous metabolic wastes are eliminated out of the body in the form of urine. They form part of a system known as urinary system. This system has four main parts. Kidneys, two bean-shaped reddish-brown kidneys, are located on either side of the vertebral column just above the waist. Each kidney contains up to 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. These lie around the outside of the kidney. The nephrons filter out excess water, salts, and urea from the blood as it passes through. The clean blood leaves the kidney and continues its circulation in the body. Ureters. Two narrow tubes, the ureters passing out, one from each kidney, are connected to urinary bladder. Urinary bladder, a muscular sac-like structure where urine is stored temporarily. The two ureters open into this sac, the urinary bladder. Its outlet is closed tight by a ring of muscles or sphincter. Urethra, a short muscular tube, the urethra leads from urinary bladder to outside. The opening of urethra is guarded by a sphincter muscle. It relaxes at the time of urination. An adult human passes about 1 to 2 liters of urine every day. The waste filtered by the kidney passes through ureters, urinary bladder, and is finally excreted from the body through the urethra. Physical and chemical nature of urine. Physical nature. Volume 1 to 2 liters per day. Color, clear straw color or yellow. pH, slightly acidic. pH equals to 6. Odor, mild smell of urea. Chemical nature, water 95%, urea 2.5%, other wastes 2.5%, creatinine, ammonia, salts. The skin. The skin is richly supplied with blood vessels. The process of sweating is due to presence of small structures in our skin known as sweat glands. An adult has about 2 to 5 million sweat glands spread across the body under the skin surface. As blood flows in capillaries near the skin, water, salts, and urea diffuse out from the blood into sweat glands. These wastes then leave the body as sweat through tiny pores in the skin. As sweat evaporates, it helps to keep our body cool in summers. Besides liver and lungs, the skin helps remove harmful wastes from body. The sweat also helps to maintain acidic pH 4.5 to 6 of the skin, which protects it from various pathogens. The liver. Liver is the body's largest gland. It is a lobed structure lying just below the lungs. It also receives water and unwanted substance which it reroutes for disposal. Our body does not store extra amino acid that we take in our diet. It is expelled from the body after it is processed in the liver through a process called deamination. This leads to the production of urea. The liver also breaks down various harmful substances. This includes toxic substances in contaminated food, drugs, or alcohol. The liver breaks down these substances to make them safe by a process called detoxification. The lungs. Humans have one pair of lungs. The lungs are the site where deoxygenated blood gets oxygenated. Carbon dioxide is excreted from the lungs and along with it, water vapor is also lost. Signs in the vicinity. Sphygmomanometer or simply blood pressure machine, measures the force of circulating blood on the walls of the arteries. It takes two measurements. Systolic measures the heartbeats when blood pressure is at its highest, and diastolic, measured between two heartbeats when blood pressure is at its lowest. Systole or diastole is equal to 120 or 80 mm of mercury is taken as normal blood pressure. If you speak softly into the disc of the stethoscope, someone can hear it quite clearly in the earpieces. So it can be used as a hearing aid for old people whose hearing is impaired. Only you have to speak onto the stethoscope's disc. Our skin has an acidic pH. Commonly available soaps have an alkaline pH of 9. Though the soaps do wash away dirt and grime, they actually harm our skin by changing its pH and thus reducing its natural protective capabilities against bacteria and other pathogens. Hence, it is better to use mild soaps. Oliguria is decreased urine output. It happens to all of us during the summer months when we sweat a lot. Hence, in summer, the kidneys retain water for maintaining proper fluidity of the blood, thus, less urine is formed. That is why, when you are sweating a lot, you should keep drinking water frequently.